I'm making this video to explain how
Your
to
turn to ban.
play safe lane or actually any side lane
I
core
think this one's
to be
interesting.
effective without
Let's
worrying
have
too
a
much
battle.
Easy
about
reading. In the
mid game and
in
late
the
game
bag.
items.
It goes without saying. This one is in the bag.
The most common mistakes around the 4K and 5K level is that people think they can only rotate or do anything with certain items. However, that's not entirely true. For the most part, it is a really slow way to play the game because you're basically giving up any opportunities before 15, even 20 minutes. And during that time, your opponents may as well get a lot of opportunities because you give
30 seconds
up
to
those
battle.
opportunities.
But feel free to stop killing before that. We're not stickers.
So in this game, obviously I'm facing a rather hard opponent. In my lane, there's an Enigma. He's going to use his
First
conversion
blood. The Wind Ranger gets
to
there first.
take out every single range pick. So it is important for me to get to the lane early enough so I can
The battle
see
begins.
where the enemy warded and deward the camp, small camp. This is extremely important because Enigma will be able to not only convert the range creep but also deny a lot of the melee creep simply because he has 4 units denying at the same time. So it's very hard for me to CS, and draw is not the best CSer in early game. You can see I bought a 1 simply because I predicted that this silencer will be spamming a lot of skills, as well as this Enigma will use conversion every single wave, so this one will give me some sustain. And most importantly,
Denied.
I'm expecting a hard laning stage and a hard CSing stage. There's really nothing I can do against this, and Dedo cannot stop this, so he started pulling, which is the right decision. Now here it is very important for us to know that if you're playing support in this situation, it is actually better for you to hold a small camp and not hold a big camp. Now this is not very intuitive, and a lot of pros or semi-pros such as PSJ may suggest otherwise. But the reason behind this is because it doesn't matter how I pull or how the support pulls. The creep, me as Straw Ranger will never get the experience from the pulling. I will not get the experience from neutral creep. So the experience and gold I get can only come from the lane. If our lane is not pushing, for example, the Dazzle pulled the big camp and somehow I managed to block the enemy creep wave so that it doesn't go under on my tower. Somehow we were able to contain the wave to be in front of my tower for like a good 1 minute. That doesn't help because I still cannot get any extra experience.
Denied.
And meanwhile, if he pulled the big camp, the enemy hero can be aggressive and contesting this pull, get most of that experience or at least share it with Dazzle, while I don't really get too much out of it. So it doesn't really matter if he pulled the big camp or not, but it is rather important for him to stop the enemy from pulling the big camp. Although it is hard to pull here, it is definitely possible. Here, Dazzle is distracting the enemy while the enemy doesn't really have the position to contest my CS anyway. And I did not get like 1 or 2 more CS because of that. So that's kind of unnecessary because he pulled the small camp at the wrong time. If he pulled it at 17 seconds or 15 seconds, the small camp will be able to spawn after that. However, I think he either fucked up the timing or he simply blocked the camp himself. That's why I have to CS under the enemy tower for a little bit, but that's not too much of a problem anyway, because I can hardly get any CS in this lane. So right now in 4 minutes I'm level 3. As you can see, it's the same level. It's Enigma and Silencer. Here, Silencer is actually doing a really poor job. He's separating the experience from Enigma and being in this lane for no reason. In fact, if the Silencer is not in this lane, I would feel much more pressured, and I would feel a lot of strength from the Enigma if Enigma has 1 or 2 levels ahead of me. Right now I'm feeling really comfortable, and I actually told Dazzle that pulling the small camp would be good enough, although it doesn't show here because the replay does not record fighting.
Dazzle. Stupendous.
Not this time.
You can see here I use my passive. I use the aura on creeps because I want to create more pressure and push the lane in other lanes as well as my lane, because I want to force, like I experienced, I want to force the wave to push. Even if Enigma is converting a lot of creeps already, I still want that wave to push harder so that they don't have the chance to actually block Dazzle's pulling. The other reason why I use the aura is because it's 5 minutes, and for any lane in 5 minutes, if the wave is pushing, it's naturally better just because you can do some damage to tower because the Cardi spawn at the time. It's a minor issue, it's an early aura, it doesn't matter too much, but it's my thought process in that matter. So Dazzle here is actually going other lanes, which I think is a good play. He can definitely still pull in my lane, but that's only going to help that much. Here he got level 3 because of those pulls, and I'm actually ahead of it because the Silencer decided to stay in this lane as if he's doing anything. Here you can see I bought a lot of items that increase my damage as well as my HP pool. This makes Enigma denying much harder, or makes it much harder for him to deny and much easier for me to CS. In fact, if my damage is high enough, he can never deny just because they have to deny after the creep HP drops below 60. Here is a common rotation from Tusk. This rotation is very usual because as you can see, the creep wave is pushed really hard into our tower at that moment. And Dazzle and Silencer doesn't have any escape mechanism. Here I use the aura again to push the tower and to push the wave so I reach that. I was going to use the glyph, but for some reason our glyph was used already. That's why we don't have creeps to technically power hits, and we couldn't dive harder. If we actually had glyphs there, I think we could kill both Enigma and Silencer, or at least do more damage to tower. In fact, if we were able to save those creeps, I think this tower would drop under half HP. But that is also a minor issue because I intend to rotate to bottom as soon as possible, and I don't think I can kill
Dire's middle
the top
tower is
tower
under
before
attack.
that. Here you can see my HP is a little bit low. I think I'm sending a
Dire's middle
solo
tower
as
looks to
soon
be
as possible.
disintegrating.
Now I'm thinking, should I go back to this lane? Well, the reality is, the wave will never come back to my tower. The reason why I waited a little bit there
Dire's middle tower looks to be
was
disintegrating.
because I wanted to buy the haste, glove of haste. That I didn't think that should. From the side shop. But since I need to use a courier to send it itself anyway, I decided to buy it from the base. So I actually wanted my Dado to not come back to this lane, but he decided to come back to this lane. That forced me to actually go into
Radiant's
this lane
middle tower
again,
is under attack.
to actually lane here. That is a rather poor decision by him. It is not
Radiant's
intuitive
middle
to
tower
see
is
why,
not feeling the love.
but basically Dado will not be doing anything here. He's just occupying the map, which is not a terrible idea, but he cannot really manfight the enemy support, which is a silencer. Which means if the silencer is actually playing really good and
Every coin
everything
helps.
Dire's middle
It's
tower is
going-
under attack.
Stupendous!
how they're supposed to, this puck should be here at the same time with the storm, and the silencer
Dire's
should
middle
be
tower looks to be
actually being
disintegrating.
aggressive and get our bomb. And there's no way we can fight that, and Dado cannot stop that. Here, I finally found a chance to TP the bottom because I see bottom Tusk is ready to be aggressive. That's why I TP bottom. And they actually had the lane war to stop me, but that doesn't matter because the action has already begun. Tusk already got into a position where that AA kill is secured already. And more
Radiant's middle
importantly, I
tower is under
TP'd
attack.
in sync
Dire's
with
top
this
tower
party.
might be going down.
The siege creep. That assures a kill on this tower, and they have to mass rotation, massive rotate
Radiant fortified
to
constructions.
stop
Pretty
this,
good move if you ask
this
me.
push.
Radiant's bottom tower needs a
In
hand.
fact, I think it would be much better if Akima actually TP bottom instead of me,
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
and Puck should be bottom as well. Because mid is not gonna get pushed
Dire's top tower has
with
fallen.
just a storm, and bottom tower is pressured harder. However, I do appreciate the fact that Enigma tried to push this mid tower here, because mid tower is actually more important than its bottom.
Dire's middle tower is under
The problem
attack.
is, Enigma had no assurance that he's going to get this tower, because he converted creeps, and
Dire's middle tower
we
is
also
under
have
attack.
quite easy defense with Wind Ranger and Tusk. I don't think he can actually force this tower without knowing my Tusk is low HP, but my Tusk kinda insisted on
Dire
staying
just
bottom,
denied their middle tower.
and he got caught by this puck, but this puck kind of misplayed, resulted in this puck stats, and this Tusk died as well. Here, the Ursa did not go for dagger first, which means there's no way he can actually kill me or even go on me. So he should stay away from me for as long as possible. He killed the Roche, but the natural instinct
Radiant's
caused
bottom
him to
tower
go
is
back to
under
bottom, which is a very bad idea because his bottom jungle is not only not safe for him, but also it's not aggressive enough to stop him. In this lineup, it looks on theory that the Radiant is not bad in late game. However, because the existence of Storm is actually quite hard for Enigma to get a good ulti in late game. Here they try to force things to happen with Silencer. However, they did not, because they did not have reliable stun, they were not able to actually lock the storm down resulted in his death, so Ursa, and I think at least one more hero. This is a very safe fight because Enigma went to
Dire's
Midas.
bottom tower is under attack.
Basically, this Enigma's idea was to farm and to play mid to late game, which is a terrible idea because, as I said, although in theory their team fight is very strong, even late game, but Storm forbids that from happening. And also, because Straw Ranger is a range hero and hits very hard and deals damage effectively from very far away and with silence, there's simply too much things that Enigma need to deal with. He needs to have a BKB, he needs to have a dagger, and he probably needs to have at least a plate mill to stop me from just killing him straight away.
Missing middle.
Or Storm for that matter, because Storm shares my aura.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
There's really no way that Radiant can go for late game. So that's why I'm just farming comfortably here around the Ancient. Notice we actually do not have a
Dire is scanning for
good
enemies.
vision in general. The only ward we have is here on the bottom
Interesting.
one spot. Beside that, we do not have any vision.
Got it.
Oh, and
and
that'll
sweet.
just ward it here. But still, we do not see both shrines. There's no way for us to actually predict where they're going. That's why I farmed the safest spots in the entire map. And the reason why I feel like farming these camps are enough is because, as I said, we're stronger in late game. And also in early levels, the farming power is just not enough for any heroes except a few exceptions such as Shadowbeam to actually farm more than one area of the map. So basically there are 4 areas of the map, and even the smallest area would be sufficient for a farmer, for a carry, safely carry like Thor Ranger to farm in early game before level 12. So Storm is basically being very aggressive. He's trying to get things done even without a lot of information. And he died twice, but I think what he's doing is very effective. Not only drawing the attentions, forcing out enemy ultis, but also he's not getting bad trade as well.
Forest shade.
Here you can see Storm is still level 13, which is pretty high, and I'm level 11, which is almost the highest level on the enemy team, if I were on the enemy team. And this Ursa's level does not matter too much,
My thanks.
because Ursa does not scale by level. And as you can see here, even with Dagger, because I choose the Yasha already and I have leveled up my Gus quite heavily, there's no way this Ursa can kill me effectively with just himself. So all I need to do is judge where are the most of the heroes on the enemy team, and that should be enough information for me to decide where is safe to farm. Here I actually know that they have vision in our jungle just because they invaded earlier with multiple heroes when Storm, I think, forcefully killed one of their support. That's why I'm moving towards bottom part of the map. Also, this tower is the last T1 tower remaining. That's why the fight is going to happen there. Notice that I did not just go straight forward running towards bottom.
Radiant's middle tower is
Rather,
under attack.
I try to, because I have level 2 ulti now, I know that in 1 minute, one
Radiant's top
area
tower
of the
ain't
map
looking
is
too
not gonna
steady.
be enough
One of
for me to
ain't
farm.
enough.
So even if I predicted that bottom is going to be a fight, although it didn't happen, I still would rather farm this part of the map first and then go bottom. Especially because I expected them to be there, and they were there for a moment already. Now they're not pushing bottom, so in theory I should feel very dangerous with all my positioning, and I know they have a ward. However, we do have lane pushed in mid. That means the enemy has to actually ignore all of the mid heroes and smoke into our jungle to get me, which I find very unlikely. Although it would be the right decision for them to do, because killing me would actually eliminate a lot of our team's damage output. Not only because of the damage I do, but also because of the aura. Now here we no longer have that mid presence, well, a little bit still, but I know it's very dangerous top jungle, that's why I moved to bottom, and they actually smoked there, which is very fortunate for me. Here they're going on this Wind Ranger. Although that would be not actually great here, it's not too bad for us, because I don't think Wind Ranger would lose even if that was great, because of ALT and all the lingering damage from Silencer. I'm feeling a little bit insecure about my position even here. However, my Tussic's going on a support there,
I'll take that.
his presence on this part of the map makes me feel safer here. That's why I feel safe to actually farm this ancient camp. I would definitely retreat to Obid, or at least wait for the enemy to present themselves and then decide to farm if this task did not go on as Silencer. So here I actually feel very dangerous in this bottom lane because I do not see any part of their map. Actually, if I just turn on the fog here, you can see we only saw the heroes here for just 10 seconds, and I'm already pushing this bottom lane because I know it's not gonna be a gank on me. And I TP because they went on the Dazzle and did not kill Dazzle instantly. I think this will be a good fight because Akima is down already, and I'm not scared of Ursa at all. Even if Ursa pulled out the jump on me, there's no way to kill me. And I know this is my opportunity, and as well as my team's opportunity to push the towers. As you can see here, I used my aura already, which means it's bottom lane. I used my aura as soon as they started that fight. They went on Dazzle, which means we're pushing both lanes, even 3 lanes at the same time. Here, they can definitely contest this tower. I think they did not have to use this glyph here. If they don't use, I will still have to go back, but they used glyph, so I happily went back. That's just an extra win for me. Now here, I'm actually not safe on this top tower, but I predicted that the enemy should not be able to see our heroes right now. That's why I felt it's safe at least to farm one wave. But then I have to bet on the enemy team if they presume that I'm actually a bait here. In fact, I'm still not safe here because you can see my teammate is still very far away. I'm pretending to be really strong here, but I'm actually not. If the enemy team actually has vision on my teammate, I would have died here, or at least I would have to run pretty hard for my life here. As you can see, I'm farming very cautiously here. I know this is a dangerous spot to be. In fact, I think there are at least 4 heroes behind this Ursa, but I insist on fighting this because I think it would be good for us to force out their ultis. Because I feel I have already farmed enough, and our team fight is really strong, and we should start before things happen. Here, Enigma actually pulled out the BKB ulti. He went straight for BKB blink, which is effective in early game, but this trade is actually not too good for them. Even if Storm wasn't, the fact that Storm wasn't here at the beginning and did not go into the fight until the very last is actually why I said that this team fight is not bad for us at all. As you can see, they use all the ultis, they burn down all their resources, BKBs, but in 30 seconds we're gonna storm. It's still quite early timing in 24 minutes, and we need to bring down some towers because we're stronger. So I told my team that they don't have anything anymore, we can just push after the respawn. Here, it's obvious that I should just bring this top wave down to their T1 tower, but my Storm found out that the Ursa is doing a Roche, which is very good. So we try to contest the Roche here. Ursa used his ulti early, which means there's no way he can actually throw this Roche in time. And I noticed that, that's why I did not go for more kills. Instead, I go back to Roche and finish the Roche. At this point, the comeback chance from the enemy team is very low, but still possible. The main chance for them is for Enigma to find a big ulti. So I suggested to my team that we should go as 4 and let Storm do his thing. This way there's no way they can fight 2 fights at the same time without really good coordination.
Invisibility.
It's not impossible, however, for them to fight 2 fights with Silence and Black Hole. It's just that in pubs, it's very hard for the entire team to do 2 right things at the same time. Here I still feel unsafe at the top lane. I call my teammate to come to top as soon as possible, as we decided earlier before the Roche fight. They kind of forget about it, that's why they went to bottom to clean the jungle. If I turn off the fog, the enemy team actually decided to go bottom to push the tower, which is a really bad decision. Because this bottom lane is too far away from our tower, and they started push way after that we bring down top tier 1. And I actually decided to fight this bottom just because we're way stronger and I have Aegis. Now here I decided to show a little bit early before my entire team got here because I want to bait them into killing me. Here Enigma uses his ulti, Silencer uses his ulti to bring down me, who has Aegis. But then they have nothing to go on, and I can just clean up the entire enemy team. Here, my task insisted on chasing his Puck, and Windrunner has stagger, so they went for the Puck, and Windranger actually baited the Puck with cheese, but I don't even bother chasing because Challenger is not a chasing hero. So I found the neutral and pushed away. Notice here, the enemy team, just like us, spawned really fast, about 30 seconds, so there's no guarantee that we can push tower after this team fight. We have to observe situation and decide if this is a possible push after. As you can see here, I'm still being very cautious, and I'm constantly faking moves, and for example here, I'm actually deciding if I should go back to bottom, although it seems like I left the bottom for sure. I'm assessing the situation as soon as I get any information at all. Here I see Ursa is bottom and it's under their tower. It's very unlikely for the enemy team to bait Ursa under their tower, so I decided they have to be elsewhere. And in fact, we saw Puck, we saw multiple killers top, which means this Ursa is a kill. However, this Ursa is pretty smart, he recognized that, and he didn't even farm the closest camp. he went for Ancient, I think he said, and that's why I didn't kill him. And also this makes me suspicious because the top wave is pushing and they actually did not fight top. That's why I did not show bottom. I have no information to make sure that bottom is fine. Puck, for example, could be bottom trying to push this wave. And actually Puck is here. This Puck is not a kill because he has Yo Scepter here, I think. Yes, he does have Yo Scepter. That's why I did not go on him. The purpose of me being here is mainly to gather information. Here I suspected that the Puck went in our small jungle with the rest of the team. However, that did not happen, which makes me really confused. That's why I'm still not showing lane. In fact, I've been AFK here for 1 straight minute because we have no information. However, the enemy team is not doing too much anyway, and my teammates are farming in the jungle, so I'm comfortable with this. The reason why I started to farm this camp is because I figured for 1 minute with only one spawn of jungle creeps, there's no way their entire team can just AFK here for that long. So here you can see the Puck went on me, but without his teammate, he cannot really kill me.
Such
He
is
dealt some
tomorrow.
damage. Silencer panicked here to save his A, which is completely unnecessary,
Stupendous!
which makes us confident to push this bottom tower. This push is actually not that safe because this is actually the only chance that it can come back. However, I do feel safe because I have a Dazzle and they don't have Silencer. The only way they can stop Dazzle from saving me is with Silencer. And they make the right decision to not
Radiant's
fight
bottom tower has fallen.
because I will stay as far from my Silencer as possible. From my Dazzle as possible, so that they cannot black hole both Dazzle and me.
Over here now!
So basically we're just fine manning here and pressuring towers. Notice this ancient camp is always reserved for me because in our team there's no other people can farm ancient. This is a really good thing for carry to do, is to build your items so that you can farm ancients, so that every time you go with a team you can always get something because your team cannot get ancient
Radiant's
only.
middle tower had a run-in with the Dire.
So we push 2 tier 2s and the enemy team has no choice but to go something
Here I am!
hyper aggressive after this. So I'm expecting them to smoke gank us. Also notice now we finally have vision, we have information of the bottom. So we know they will be ganking us top for sure because we don't see anything bottom. Staying here is a pretty good idea, although not the best idea. But what I did here was that I choose to trigger something by pushing a lane. However, they went on our team as soon as I surrounded them, which resulted in a very easy claim out. At this point, the enemy team basically gave up. So, in this 13-minute game, the game actually lasts a little bit longer than this because the enemy team did not actually give up. But there are a couple of things we should notice.
Radiant's top
And by the
tower
way,
is under
I
attack.
do not even care about the final Puck kill. I went straight for the mid tower after I secured those 3 easy kills.
Radiant's middle tower's not feeling the love.
Um,
Radiant's structures
For
are
this game,
fortified.
I think there are only
Radiant's top tower
around
has fallen.
3 decisions,
Radiant's middle barracks
that
are
were
under attack.
key decisions. First of all, I decided to
Radiant's middle
TP
barracks has fallen.
bottom as soon
Radiant's
as
top
I see a
tower's about
chance.
to topple.
By chance, I mean
Radiant's
my
top
teammates
tower
is
just tapped out.
already in position. My
Radiant's
teammates
middle
are already
barracks
in
are under
position,
attack. Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
doing something that's irreversible, then I TP to that lane. Even if I don't get any kills or do not contribute in that fight, I will still be able to push the tower after that. And that is a very important thing for Draw Ranger or any character that can do physical damage.
Radiant's middle barracks is still there.
Your TP does not mean you have to get
Radiant's middle
kills,
barracks has
but
fallen.
rather you can pressure towers and bring down structures. The other important thing is that I recognize at that level 6, with basic movement speed, I will be stronger than Ursa. I have 2 abilities that can kite him quite well. Also, my offlaner Wind Ranger is a good kiting hero. So there's no way Ursa can fight us there effectively, especially when they don't have enough
Radiant's bottom
lockdowns
shrine
without
is under
Enigma.
attack.
This is why I said Enigma TP bottom there to defend his P1
Radiant's bottom
was the
shrine is
only
under attack.
choice they could have made.
Radiant's
It's
bottom
not the
shrine
best
has
choice
fallen.
for Enigma himself because he wants to stay solo and keep the black hole cooldown free so he can actually keep pressure up. But he had no choice in that situation. However, they did went for a really good play, which is trading this Roche and tier 1 top with our tier 1 bottom. This is inevitable. However, after that, this Ursa did not recognize that he has to stay away from me and should pressure top part of the map as long as possible. Ursa came back to bottom part of the map.
Radiant's bottom
He
tower
even
is
farmed
under
his
attack.
ancient with his Aegis without dagger,
Killing spree. Double kill.
and that resulted in a collapse in their team's
Radiant's
aggression.
bottom tower must have been dizzy.
And the second decision I
Radiant's bottom
made
barracks
was
probably
to
gonna
pressure
die.
the second important
Radiant's bottom
decision
barracks is
was to
falling.
pressure the top tier 1
Radiant's
and
bottom
force out the
barracks
big
has
ulti.
fallen. Now have mega
I have
creeps.
4 staff at that point, so I have at least 3 devices I can kite the enemy main damage dealer, which is Ursa, and all the other spells are just AoEs.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
However, we did not pull that fight out, which is still fine because the big decision is
Double
strategical
Radiant's middle
decision
tower has
is correct, which means the small decisions don't matter. That's why after we spawn, even if
That
Ursa
Radiant just
tried
let
to
Dire bang on their ancient.
pull something off by going into Roche,
Dominate. Radiant's ancient
we
is
still were able to
angry.
fight that Roche because we forced out the
Take
ulti.
it all the way.
That's a second decision. And the third decision was I TP'd bottom with Aegis to force that fight instead of pushing top tier 2. Obviously, I could push much faster than the enemy team. However, when I am stronger and the enemy team does not expect me to fight them, I usually decide to take the fights if my team agrees to cooperate. If my team did not TP there, I would TP but stay safely behind tier 2 maybe, to just let the T1 die. My team did cooperate there, and that resulted in basically a win for us. So what I want to stress here is to use your resources as much as possible, even if other choices seem to be optimal as well. For example, pushing top tier 2 there would not be a bad decision because we have much stronger pushing power with Draw Ranger. In fact, we probably would have reached high ground by the time they push down our tier 2. However, the high ground fight would be much harder because we're trying to be aggressive and the enemy team is defending with 2 big ultis. and even if we don't decide to push high ground, it could have been hard for us to pull out of the pushing from T2 because they still occupies the shrine and they still have 2 big ultis. Taking that fight makes everything much easier because the enemy team does not expect it, and when I go on that Ursa, the Ursa had no real chance of getting out, and in fact no intention of getting out, because they're so ready for us to fight. So they're so ready to fight bottom, and they do not expect that we TP at the right timing with the right sequence, baiting my Aegis. So yeah, basically I started to play the game from level 6 around I think 8 or 9 minutes, and I kept the pressure throughout the game, not only because I went for the greedy item, Yasha first item, which means I can farm way faster than Ursa, but also because throughout the game I stayed close to the potential fight, and I had a chance to join every fight even without TPs. So that's the analysis. I hope this will help some of you.